I like to teach through storytelling. And I teach intuition, but really I live an intuitive life. So I have a crazy long story today. And I just, teach through giving examples of how intuition manifests in my life. So, but before I kind of dominate the conversation, if you guys are here for a specific question, I'm happy to answer that question as well. We'll just wait for maybe a minute, let anyone else log in before I start blabbing away. So any reason I imagine amazing teachers right now. There was something that drew you to this live. So I would love to know what drew you here. Oh, good. Okay, good, Kelly. If you like storytelling, you're going to love this one. Because there's nothing to teach. We're all intuitive. There, the lesson is done. We're all intuitive. It's just that often we don't realize we're so intuitive. I offer retreats in my home and people are like, what made you choose this retreat? And they're just like, I don't know. It was a strong feeling. And I just knew I needed to go. Out of the thousands of retreats they could have gone to, their soul knew they needed to come to this one. So that's intuition. There's nothing more to teach. We're all intuitive. I'm just constantly repeating this over and over and over. So it's I just want to show examples of how does intuition show up in your life? Yeah, I love that. You just had a feeling. I find I ask questions, I already know the answers. Well, of course. And that's the key, Catherine, is asking the right questions. In life, we don't ask ourselves questions. If we actually stopped every morning now for about a month and a half, I've been journaling. And I know you used to never do this. They always say journal, connect to your soul, your higher self. Well, I've actually been doing that. And I allocate a time every morning and I ask myself a question. And that can simply be higher self or whatever you believe, intuition, or my guides, or an angel, or whatever you believe in, whatever you work with. What do I need to know right now? How often do we ask our own souls what we need? Right? What a concept. How mind-blowing is that? We have all our own answers. We don't need to be asking people outside of ourselves for answers. We have all the answers within. And sometimes when I ask questions like you guys, why did you choose this? Why did you choose to listen to me today? I don't know. It's a feeling. Well, that should be a good enough answer. You don't need to justify anything. And outside society often doesn't love those answers. They want a rational reason, right? But you could be just, claircognizant. You just know. You just have a strong knowing. Clairsentient, a clear feeling. For me, I'm more clairaudient. So I'll hear a message. It'll be like, go there, do this. It's very neutral, very subtle, not reactive. If I don't listen, there's no judgment. It's just another repetitive nudge again, a nudge from my higher self, as I like to call it. So today, I am so excited to share how intuition shows up in my life. Again, we are all intuitive. This is not for a select few. This is a gift. Well, not even a gift. This is an ability we all have if we focus on it, if we learn to live it, if we learn to honor it, if we learn to trust it. And trusting it takes time. Confidence takes time in any ability, right? So we may receive these intuitive messages in the ways that we do. We all receive intuition a little bit differently. And it's about taking those inspired actions. And the more you do that, the more confidence you'll have. And when you gain that confidence, you'll just take those inspired actions more and more and more. I've gotten to a place in my life that I literally do not question my intuition. I live with a lot of discernment on outside voices and things outside. I'm very discerning. But when inspired action comes from me, oh, there's some hearts. When it comes from me, I trust me and my wisdom and knowledge more than outside. With anything, with really, what's happening in the news, or if someone tells me something, or I don't accept that as my own belief. I check in with myself first and my higher self and my soul to see if that resonates. And yes, I love that, Kelly. I'm answering your question without even referring to it. Yes. Well, yeah, I haven't been on for a while because I like to accumulate stories. And this story about how intuition shows up in my life, I hope will illuminate some of your guys' path and journey of it's really little steps. I can't emphasize this enough. My intuition comes with the smallest nudges. And I continually follow each nudge, trusting, surrendering, following the nudge, taking the inspired action. And then the most magical things happen. And it's often very unexpected things in my world. So this story is, let's say a good month ago, I dropped, over a month ago. My mom was at my home visiting me, and I dropped her off at the airport. And unexpectedly, I had a huge sense of homesickness, which is very unlike me because I'm quite content with my life here. I rarely feel homesick for my where my family lives. But I had this really deep sense of sadness, and I really wanted to be at home. And so my mom heard that, and she's like, well, come for a month. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I'll look at what's available. I have some points. I have 28,000 points left, and I want to use my points. So I'm going to see what's available, and that will help me determine where I should go or when I should go. So one morning I'm on the phone with her, and we're looking at flights. And the flights were from where I'm living now to where my family lives. It was like 40,000 points one way. And I was like, I don't even have that many points. Like, that's craziness to be using that many points to fly home. So I was really feeling discouraged. And I decided to go for a swim. And I go swim, this was the most gorgeous night ever where I was living. It was like crystal blue skies, not one cloud in the sky. The lake was just super glass, beautiful. And I decided to go swim across the entire lake. And I do that once a year. And I just didn't want to get out. I was just having so much fun swimming alone after supper. And as I turned around to start heading back home, in the sky, believe it or not, I wish I had a camera, but I didn't because I was in the middle of the lake. In the middle of this sky, because now from the other side of the lake, I could see the entire sky. I saw one cloud, and I really swear the cloud looked like an angel flying, like an angel with wings flying. And I gasped. I was like, I can't believe. I wish I had a camera to take a picture and have proof, but I didn't. But I saw that. I saw that angel, and I feel very connected to the angelic realms. I'm always connecting to angels and guides. Yeah, there's some hearts. So I get back from my swim, and I usually don't go on my computer, at night. But I thought something happened. Well, during my swim, I don't know, some energy shifted. I felt that. So I went to go look at my computer. And earlier that day, my mom found a flight. She's like, okay, this is the best flight. It was hundreds of $700 or something to fly home. And I didn't have to take a month off of work, pay $700. Logically, none of this made sense. I was like, what am I doing? I should be working. But again, I try to live an intuitive life, not a logical, limited mind way of living. So I get back home, and I go on my computer, and I see an unexpected booking for a weekend, one of my weekend retreats. And it was like $750, just out of the blue. I didn't know this human even existed, but she just booked for one weekend in August. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, there's abundance right there just to be able to fly home. I have the money now. Unexpected, the money is there. Easy like that. But then I thought, well, I'm going to go check my points and see actually if any of the points, I don't know, something shifted. So I went online and I noticed that there was one flight on one day that was actually a perfect day because I wanted to meditate before for, what was it, 14,000 something points. So that was a huge difference in the 40,000 earlier that day. So something happened. And then I went to go, well, I want to go find flights home. And it was a specific day I wanted to go home. And on that day, it was a flight for 12,000 points, 12,000 something. So added all together, it was 27,000 something points. And I had 28,000. So I had exactly the amount of points I needed. Automatically, I booked. I know all these hearts. I booked. And I was like, okay. Now, for anyone who's new, I did a whole episode on signs like signs that we get from our loved ones who've crossed over, from angels, from the animal kingdom. I'm always talking about signs. I'm always talking about look at the synchronicities and the signs. They're always there for us if we're open and willing to observe them. And a couple episodes ago, I did a whole show about my grandmother and how it was like quite a long episode. Yeah, signs are everywhere. And how my grandmother, who passed over or crossed over a few months ago, she is now comes to me in the form of a literal female moose because she was grown up in this little town in Saskatchewan called Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. And so, so I always feel very connected. And also before she passed, she gave me all of her angels in her house, anything angelic, any little ornaments or anything regarding angels she gave me because I'm very connected to angels as well. So we have this connection with moose and angels. And I was just like, of course, this is my grandmother. She is helping me get back home so I can take care of my father who has Alzheimer's. And which is her son. So of course, on the other side, she wants me to be with family and to help with my father. Oh, Kelly, you said your grandmother is in palliative care at the moment. I was meant to hear this. Yeah. So I was so excited. I had flights. I was like, I am supposed to be home right now. So I fly home. Oh, and then I chose the flight. It was 13:33, 1:30 in the afternoon. It was 13:33. And for my grandmother, she used to live actually at where she passed away was at this home 33. So 33 is big. 33 is big in her world. 22 is big in her world. So I'm very, open to numbers too. So I sent this to my mama, booked my flights, and mom's like, I didn't even know that was even a flight option. For her, she didn't even see that flight was an option. But everything just bloop, 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 cleared up, and I was easily able to fly home. So I flew home, beautiful day. The next day, I went on a road trip with my mom. We did a 2-day road trip, just her and I. And that night we were driving. This was like at dusk. And we were driving in kind of like these back roads, open field, huge open field. And in front of us, quite a far distance away, I was driving with my mom and she goes, what's on the road? Is that a big horse? And I giggled. I was like, of course not, Mom. That's a moose. And it didn't even surprise me. There was this huge female moose on the road in the lane we were at, but far enough in advance we weren't scared or it wasn't dangerous. And the moose was in the middle of the road. It stopped. It turned its head. It looked at me exactly the way it looked at me. The moose looked at me in May and then just slowly walked off the road. And I could have, again, taken out my phone, taken a picture, but it doesn't even surprise me anymore. This is my new normal of like, oh, of course, there's grandmother who's who's just manifested as a moose. And how often do we run across mooses? This has been 2 moose in like 2 months. And my mom was just like, couldn't believe it, and it was like, well, yeah, like I'm glad she was there to see the moose, because people may not actually believe my stories if I just keep saying I keep seeing moose. And I then asked my mom, I go, is this rare? Do you often see moose? And she's like, oh, the last time was like 20 some years ago. A moose came in our backyard, and I was actually with my mom at that moment. I was like, yeah, I was there, and it was a male moose. So she's never seen like a female moose like on the road. So for her, it was a very profound moment for her. Like, okay, grandma is there. Grandma is really watching over us. Like, I know it. I feel my grandma all the time. But it's sometimes nice to just ask for signs. Like, hey, I want to see a sign. And this was a pretty surprising sign for most people, but especially for my mom at that time. So it was very healing for her. Like, okay. And I was like, yeah, she's definitely brought me here. And I didn't know why. Well, I did know why, because I was taking care of my father the week after. So my mom and my sister got to have a little trip together, because they never get to travel together. So I was at home taking care of my father, and it was beautiful. And I don't get to be home very often, and I was very emotional all week. And I just felt like every day, this is the last day I'm going to be able to spend time with my dad before he probably has to go to a memory care home, because he's at a level where he needs 24-hour care, and this is so beyond our capacity. And I've been fighting for 6 months to get my father into a nice memory care home, so my mom can relax, because it's literally 24 hours of care. And so I'm there and having a great time with my father. It was exhausting, energetically exhausting. And my mom needs respite. She needs help. She's watching him for years, 24 hours a day. It's unbelievable, really. And I said, well, Mom, come to one of my retreats again in Quebec. And then I asked my sister, okay, like you can offer respite. And then my sister usually says yes, but this time she said no. She goes, no, it's my birthday. I want to be on a family trip with you guys too. I want to relax. I'm burnt out. I need to relax too. And so that surprised us all. We were not expecting that. We were expecting her to say, yes, I will watch Dad, and my mom can come visit me. So that was shocking to all of us. And so we went, okay, well, with this information, we need to find a plan B, and we need to find a place that can take in my father. So if ever my mom and my sister want to go on vacation, they can leave the house and go on vacation. So my sister spent like an entire day calling every care home in the city, and the city of Regina, and nothing was available. Everything was full, like 1 year wait list, and my dad's already on a wait list. But this is a time where I've been wanting him to move for 6 months, at least 6 months now. So then she found a place an hour away in the town of Moose Jaw, where my dad was born. It's just an hour away, which is not a big deal for me, but for them, they didn't even think about this because it's outside the city. So it's just kind of too far in their brains. But for me, it's nothing. Where I live in Quebec, it's like everyone drives an hour to go anywhere. So she called, and the place was so nice. They're like, yes, we have availability. Yes, we can offer respite. And they were just so pleasant. And so we're like, okay, as a family, let's go. We're all very intuitive. And while I was in town, I wanted to feel the energy of the place and see if I liked that place too. So we did a family road trip. We walk in, and the moment we walk in, my dad was so happy. He was talking and joking, and I felt good. We all felt good. We walked through the place. We went to go look at the room. There was a gorgeous room overlooking the courtyard. Beautiful like gardens and beautiful backyard. And it was a private room, and the room was number 22. So we giggled, because that's like my grandmother's number. Well, wow, this is amazing. I love it here. We spent hours there. And then we're like, okay, let's go. So I was convinced. For me, I'm intuitive. I don't need to rationalize for a long time. If I have a feeling and it's like a yes, it's a yes for me. And I like to live a very simple, easy life like that, trusting that feeling. But my mom, she is very logical, very intuitive, but very logical as well. She goes, well, I need more information. I need to visit the other places before I make a decision. So the next day, we went around to all the fanciest places in Regina just to see what it would be like. And some of the places had the most amazing reviews. Like everyone loved it. It was amazing. And I would walk in and energetically, I would run out. I had to get out there so fast. Like I don't care how amazing the reviews are. If I do not feel good in that place, I would never want to go back or visit or have my father there. So I just I don't care. Get me out of here. And they were extremely expensive and huge wait lists. And it's just I don't like any aspect of those places. So that was really eye-opening for us and really really reaffirming of okay, we really like the other place. And everywhere we go, even if my dad's out with friends or out with his friends or out for supper, soon within for sure an hour, he's like, okay, let's go. I want to go. He's always wanting to go. But we go to this one place, this memory care home, an hour away from the city, and my dad, we would be there for hours and hours, and he would never want to leave. He would just be like, okay, bye, you guys can go. I want to stay. He never asked to leave. So this was very telling too. So the next day, we go back again. And we are like, well, we want respite. And I was getting so frustrated because for 6 months, I've been forcing my mom, Mom, Dad needs to go. He's so social. Even though my mom is taking amazing care of him, he's lacking the social aspect. And my dad's very extroverted. He loves to talk to people. He loves knowing everyone. And being at home, he doesn't have that opportunity. So I want him to be somewhere where he can go and have fun and meet people and have these 3-course meals and desserts and all the fun that he can have and friends that he doesn't, of course, get at home by himself. So for me, I perceive this as a vacation. I want him to be on vacation and have the best time ever. And I want him there, immediately. I wanted him there 6 months ago. And so I was getting so frustrated because my mom was very resistant to this. And my sister and I went, that's it. We're paying the month of August. It's on us. We are going to take Dad. We are going to put him there. He's going to have a fun month. And you can have a fun month to relax because you need to relax your nervous system from taking care of someone for years. So we made that decision. No, it's now. And they had this special on, and they had rooms available, and they had a couple men my dad's age just move in there, and they didn't, a couple weeks or even months ago, they didn't have men because my dad's young. My dad's very young. He had early onset dementia. And so young men, late 60s, early 70s, which I think is very young. Anyways, so we felt so good about this. So we were like, well, let's go back again. We're going to have another meal together. We're going to look at the room again. We're going to feel the place. So we went back again. And they were like, well, room 22 is already booked, but so this is room 22. And then right across the courtyard, exactly across, there's another room, number 1. And it was a less expensive room because it was shared. There's a shared bathroom, and but gorgeous view of the courtyard, gorgeous view. And I'm like, yes, number 1. I want to go see number 1. I have a good feeling about number 1. So we walk across to number 1, and on the sign there was a picture. It said number 1, and then beside it was a picture of a moose. Can you believe that? I just had tears in my eyes. We couldn't believe it. The signs are so obvious if your eyes are open. So there's this moose, just as a confirmation, grandma, she definitely approves. She found us this room in this place. We didn't even know. My mom, after she saw the literal moose on the road, she surrendered to my grandmother and said, "Grandmother, like, I need your help. I need help finding the best place for my husband," which was her son. And grandma literally found the most magical, amazing place and then put a picture of a moose just as like a nice confirmation that was her. So we see it, we love it. We spend the entire day there. My dad knows all the staff know my dad. Everything is great. He never asked to leave once. We had an amazing meal. Just little things like my sister in all the places was very allergic to the cleaning products there. Like she would go into these other centers and her eyes would be puffy because all of the chemicals. And it's like, well, it has to work for everyone involved. Like my sister is sensitive. She's going to be the one visiting my dad the most and my mom. And she went into this new facility and the cleaning products were clean and eco and it didn't affect my sister. Like so many things had to work to make this good. So we signed the contract. We did the health assessment, all the add-ons of what my dad needs. My mom signs the contract. And the general manager says, "Okay, well, we're going to start taking payments as of September." And my mom's like, "Well, what if we move him earlier, like in August?" Like I wanted him there yesterday. And he goes, "Oh, August is on us. We're not charging you for August." My sister and I look at each other like, we love that. August, we were going to pay. But my grandma was like, "Oh, no, no, no. You guys are not going to pay for this." So I don't know, she just was like, August is free and we didn't have to pay. And so just yesterday, my family helped my father move into his new place. We arrived and on the sign was his name under number 1, under the moose picture. And it was just full circle. Like we followed the signs to literally my dad's name is on a literal sign and he has found his home. And it was just like, I had no idea. No one had any idea a month ago that this was going to manifest into reality. Like we didn't even know this place was a possibility. My mom would have never, if she was in her logical mind, she would never have chosen this place. 1, because it's too far for her. 2, because on their website it said, for some reason, there was some glitch on the website that said women only. They only accept women, which was not the case. There's a few men there. What else? I don't know. But when you let go of your mind and you just energetically follow your feelings and follow the signs and ask for help, you need to ask for help because we all have free will, you'll naturally be guided to where you need to be. And I just feel so good about this. I feel so happy for my father. I feel so happy for my mom that she's young and energetic and she gets to have some sense of freedom in her life now. And that my dad gets to have fun and have new friends. And so I just received a bunch of pictures yesterday and my dad with his new friends, like literally he has new friends already, guys his age that they get to hang out all day with. I'm just so happy about this. So yeah, again, it's like I was just given these little steps. It all started with like, oh, a feeling of homesick. And then oh, I need to go for a swim. And then, oh, there's something that shifted. Oh, I'm going to get my flights. Oh, there's a moose. Oh, there's we feel the call to go visit some care homes. Oh, there's a special. Right now, there was a big special for the care homes because they were wanting to fill the rest of the rooms up. And it was just all of these things that our brains did not know, but they all just magically happened with ease. And this is an example of living a life intuitively is you just follow the small inner feelings and nudges. For some people, it's feelings. For other people, it may be clairvoyance. They may have a dream, clairaudience. You may hear a message, go here, do this, whatever. There's many ways to receive guidance and messages. But I was so excited to share that story because yeah, it's just every day we have intuition that's there for us. And And yeah, so I'm really curious if any part of that story impacted you, if you have any questions about it, maybe your highlights of that story, how intuition can show up in your life. I would love to have this time more open to Q&A. So I can wait a couple minutes. See who's joined. Oh, nice, PJ. It's nice to see you back. It's been a while since I've been here. Catherine from Dallas. I love Dallas. You from Elena from the UK. Moni from Germany. Liz from Portugal, from Lisbon. Wow. Amazing. So any questions or comments or feedback or any parts of that story that you guys especially loved, I would love to. I would love to hear your guys' feedback from those of you who are here. Kelly, what did you specifically want to hear? What impacted you? What were you meant to hear exactly? Talking about grandmothers? You know, especially if she's in palliative care. This is a time where you guys, you don't necessarily, but you guys can arrange things like, hey, when you cross over, come visit me. Give me a sign. I had no idea what my grandmother's sign would be. I talk about that in one of my other episodes because I knew she would be with me when she crossed over, but I didn't know how she would manifest herself. And the moment I saw a moose, it was so shocking. And I asked my grandmother, I was like, why a moose? Like I was expecting, like, I don't know, angels, like angel clouds. That would be more my vision of my grandmother. And then I literally heard her voice in my ear. She goes, because I grew up in Moose Jaw. And I was like, brilliant. She was born in Moose Jaw. She grew up in Moose Jaw. It was just brilliant. I didn't even think about that. I even told my sister. My sister's like, oh, she did? She didn't even know she was born in Moose Jaw. You know? So, yeah. So, yeah. I'm open to any questions or comments or anything you guys want to talk about regarding intuition, living an intuitive life. Anyone? Well, if no one has any questions, Human. Nice, I didn't even see your name. Do you have a special way to ask guidance? I don't. Great question. Do you have a special way to ask for guidance? Yeah, no, I don't. I simply ask. Internally, I'll just, silently whisper, not even whisper out loud, but mentally, what I really want to say is, please help me. Or I would love some guidance. We really do need to have that intent of asking because we have free will. So our guides and our angels or spirit or whatever you believe in is there, but they can't interfere. We have free will. So they lovingly watch what we do and without judgment, but we do need to ask for help. So I'll just literally internally, mentally ask. Yeah. Yeah, you can ask for guidance, protection, clarity. And then I like to quiet my mind. So I'll mentally ask, but then I'll quiet my mind and go inward and create space to receive. Because often we're getting messages and guidance, but our lives are busy or we may not acknowledge. And it's also important to acknowledge too. So it's like, someone could have looked at the cloud or not looked up, not noticed the cloud. Someone may just been like, oh, wow, there's lots of nature, and not have perceived the moose as a sign, But for me, I want to acknowledge every sign I receive, and to thank my spirit guides any chance I get to acknowledge that I've seen the sign. Otherwise, they may, continue. Well, they could. I love signs. I'm always open to signs, but it's nice to acknowledge as well, to ask, and then once you've been guided or helped in some way, to acknowledge with gratitude and thank them, just so they know you've noticed the sign. Not knowing, they don't need any like recognition, but just like, okay, I see you. Thank you. Like, I see the sign now. So, yeah, great question. I love that. Yeah. Does anyone else have ways that they ask for guidance? Because we all have our own unique ways. There isn't one correct way. How do you currently ask for guidance? Anyone? Welcome to the new people who have joined. This is always just an open space to ask any questions you may have about intuition, spirituality, signs and synchronicities. From David from Miami, Jan from New Zealand, Houston, California. I love this. I love this platform. I love that we can be here together. I just spent like a half an hour talking about how intuition has manifested, how following my intuition has manifested in my world in the last month. So I love to do these check-ins maybe once a month and share all of my stories. And my latest one, that always surprise me. They still surprise me. So if anyone has any other questions, I'm here to answer them. Or if anyone else has anything they'd like to share. No more questions? Yeah, I really encourage you to ask. Ask as often as you can, every day. That's the thing too. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I can't ask for something little like that, or I have to wait, or I only have a few. Like, it's like I was in this program of I only have a few wishes, so I have to be very selective on what I wish for. And it's like, that's just so limiting. That's just not true. Every day we can ask. We have unlimited wishes. And the universe just wants even more for us than what we possibly could ever imagine and envision. Sometimes when things don't work out, I get really defeated and discouraged, and like I get excited about something. And just recently, I was like, why did that fall through? I was so excited. I felt like that was so divine. And I received this intuitive message that surprised me. When things surprise me, I know it's not my mental mind, it's my intuitive higher mind that's coming through. And I received the message, because we have something even better for you. And we are going to surprise you even more than you are right now. And I was like, wow, like how fun. Okay, like I'm ready for that. I'm so limiting of like, oh, how I think it's supposed to work. And just actually like yesterday, I received a message from someone like who I met years ago, and was just like, oh, I want to see you. I want you to come visit me again. And it was just like, I was telling my sister, she's like, that just fell from the sky. And it's like, that was so unexpected. And it's just like, I love the wow factor of, I just have to be in the moment and let things happen. I cannot plan because I don't know the plan. I don't know the divine plan. I just have to follow my small intuitive steps, and the things that come into my energy, or the opportunities, or the people, I have to sit and feel. Does that feel good? Do I feel called to that? Do I not feel called to that? And the less effort I put in, the more things will come into my energy field. So I just only have to focus on elevating my consciousness and my energy field to be able to vibrate at a level that I'm able to attract and manifest all of the things I want. So do you need to, there's another question. Do you need to cultivate the ability of intuition? Is that your question? So I often remind people we all have this ability. And I like to think of it as a muscle, that needs to be trained and worked. We just have to work on trusting it more. We're all very intuitive, but we're not often used to honoring and taking that inspired action. We may receive an intuitive insight, and then our brain and our ego takes over and deletes it all. And we say, oh, no, I can't do that. Or that's too wild, or that's too crazy, or that's too scary, or whatever. We talk ourselves out of a lot of things. And in my life, I teach about intuition because I've just gotten to a point where I trust it a lot and I take inspired action. And even when it's the unknown, I received a message to rent out my home this winter. And I was like, I don't want to rent out my home. I love my home. Like my ego doesn't want to put in effort and move and do things. But I'm feeling the call to go somewhere and I don't even know where, but I trust and I'm taking action. So, I'm doing the necessary work. I was, cleaning carpet and I was cleaning all the deep cleaning of the house and listing my home. And now I have a friend that I just had a message from this morning, actually. And I said, hey, she's a professional photographer. I said, may I hire you to take professional photos of my home? And I go, yeah, what do you charge? And she goes, oh, for friends, it's for free. She's like, it's my pleasure to help you. Of course I'm going to contribute and help pay her. But it's like, I didn't even expect that. Like, it's just like, wow, I have now a free, professional photographer who's going to come. I have already an agency I've listed with, and I'm just doing the actions because that's what my intuition is telling me. And I don't know where I'm going in a couple months, but trusting I'll find a way. That's exciting. It is exciting. And then randomly yesterday, I have a friend from years ago who messaged me, say, come visit me. I want to see you. And maybe I'll go to visit him there. Maybe I'll go travel somewhere else. Who knows? I will keep you all posted on my episodes of following intuition, but it's literally step by step. And it is scary. It is very scary. And I cultivate this ability by doing it enough times and trusting. I have a belief that my intuition and my higher self just wants the highest timeline and the best possible life of joy and ease and abundance and love for me. And so with that mindset, more easily, I still feel anxious and scared at times, but I more easily follow those intuitive nudges because it only leads to amazing things. And, logically, I was like, why would I pay really, like the flight would be $700. Why would I take a month off of work? Why would I leave in the most beautiful time of the year when I just love to be at home where I could be offering retreats? Logically, nothing, was making sense. It didn't make sense at all for me. And while I was at home, I received another inquiry for a woman who's actually coming tomorrow to do a 3-week retreat in my home, which pays, that one retreat will pay for 2 months of my other retreats. So it's like, if I really just live in constant trust that I'll be taken care of, I literally am taken care of. Like this woman, she didn't even send an inquiry. She just booked and paid. And then I sent her an invoice and she paid in full. And I had zero discounts available, zero last minute. I had the full price. And she just like, this is what I need. And then on the phone, she goes, I have like a very crazy story to tell you about how I found your place. And I told her, I go, there is nothing you could say to me that would shock me. And she goes, my story will shock you. Tomorrow I'm going to find out the story. So I'll keep you guys posted. But it's just like, Yeah, I just trust that I will be taken care of. I had 1 month off of work, but now this one contract pays for 2 months of all my bills. So I am taken care of when I follow my intuition. Yeah, building trust is the key, as fear will always be coming up. Yes, yes. Yeah, people look at me and think I have no fear. I am always like out of my comfort zone every single day. I have so many things right now in my life that are unknowns, and most people like don't want to feel that level of unknown all the time, and it is uncomfortable. They may take medication, they may take alcohol, they may distract themselves with TV or whatever thing just to distract themselves. And don't. I don't take any of those things. I sit in that discomfort and I trust and I work on surrender, and I want to be connected to my feelings. I don't want anything to dull my body and my feelings. We have so many messages that come through our body, and we need to drop from our head, the logical mind, and back into our body. The body is much smarter and much faster. Yeah. And Jacqueline goes, yeah, oh my gosh, I wonder what her story is. Probably about her intuition. Well, yeah, she found me for some reason. And that's what I trust. This woman, I had a meeting this week with a woman from Australia, and she goes, it is my dream for 20 years to come to Canada. And she's taking a 28-hour flight to come to my retreat. And I was like very scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I'm going to be in 2 months from now. Like, I was so scared. She booked this months ago, and I finally met with her online. And I go, how did you choose this retreat? Like, Canada is a huge country. There's tons of places. There's tons of retreats. Like, how did you choose this one? What was it about this one that you liked? She goes, I don't know, JD, but it was a feeling. And that's literally like what all of my guests say. And that is the best answer ever. You don't logically need to give me a reason. It is a feeling. You know that you need to be in this energy, maybe at this lake, maybe something that I say, something a guest says. Like, it's so beyond logic. And once you learn to trust more and more, life becomes very magical. Yeah. Kate says, okay, I accidentally stumbled into this while doing research for a tech company. And wow, I'm blown away by this discussion. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I love that. Accidentally, right, in life. Oh, wow. Thank you, Emilio, for your donation. That's so sweet and unexpected. Yeah, I know. Accidents. I think that's spirit also guiding us to where we need to be. I just talk and I have no idea what I'm going to say. And I have to trust that there's something I'm going to say that will resonate with someone. Like, who knows? And it could just be one small thing, maybe just hey, ask for guidance, ask for help. That could completely change your life. If you guys every day ask for guidance and help, can you imagine where your life would be in a year from now? There's so many hearts today. I love that. I love being on these insight timers, and I love answering your questions. And yeah, who knows what's going to be in another 3 weeks from now. I'm going to have, I'm sure, many other things that will manifest in my world. But yeah, it is. It's not that I'm like fearless. My mom calls me courageous. And courage is defined as feeling the fear and doing it anyways. So I'm very courageous in following my intuition. This is a good summary because it is very scary. I love security. I love knowing where I'm going to live in 2 months from now. But if my intuition is pushing me for some reason to go somewhere, I don't know why. My brain doesn't know why. But I'm feeling that excitement to do this. And I know I need to for some reason. Yes, I love now these questions coming in. So we have another question. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Kristen says, okay, I love all these hearts. Okay. Oh, shoot. I want to see the one question. Okay. Anna says, do you have guidance around how I can discern what is a prompt from my intuition versus what is coming from a place of anxiety? Yes. Now, I'm someone who has anxiety, has lived with anxiety for most of my life. And so I've had to learn to discern. And intuition is very calm. It can be forceful. It can be like, stop, no, do this, go there. It can have an intense bit of a push. But fear-based is like, oh, I have a whole program on fear versus ego versus intuition, because this is a very common question. And so about anxiety, what can I say about that? Intuition is often something that it's exciting, following our joy, being very excited about a decision, um, feeling light about it, feeling excited about it, feeling joyful, feeling eager. Where anxiety is more of a dread of I should, right? I should. It's the logical mind. That makes a lot of sense. You rationalize it. Where intuition can be a little bit, it's more heart-centered. You're living in your heart. You're living in this is irrational, but I know I need to do this. I feel this is I feel excited about this. I feel light about this. If anything is heavy or negative or like, draining, that's very much your mind and your ego, which can be anxiety too. Anxiety is more living in the future. And so when I'm too much in the future, I can be very anxious. Like, where am I living in 2 months? Can create a lot of anxiety. Just saying this, I feel anxiety. Like, I don't know. But when I drop back into the present, then I can be in a much calmer, grounded place. And as in life, we're supposed to live in the present. We know this. We've heard this many a times. Only the enlightened ones live in the moment. And this is really, this is kind of, well, our goal. This is really one of our missions, is to learn to live in the present moment. And everything will be given to us in the present moment of our next step, right? Now there's lots of questions. Okay. Yeah, Anna, thank you for this beautiful conversation. Yeah, meditation helps. The moment you quiet your mind, you drop in. Sometimes if I have so many ideas and options and distractions, I can get very distracted very easily. And so I tend to go inward, and I will go even to a meditation retreat and recenter. And by feeling what I really want, everything becomes clear. So if my life is too busy, I do a reset by myself and go meditate. And you can just meditate at home. You don't need to literally go to a meditation retreat like I do. You can be at home, meditate, and things will really clear up on you envisioning yourself and taking different directions, and even visualizing different doors and walking through each door and seeing how you feel. And your body is holds a lot of wisdom that you want where you need to go. Yeah, Emilio says, my intuition does not work well. Interesting. Say more. It works well. You maybe just don't trust it very much. So you're drawn here for a reason. You feel free to ask a question, Emilio. Kristen, I've always felt like you have to have a relationship with your intuition and your higher self. Then you know better. Then you know better that's where the message is coming from. Yeah. Really getting to know, having a relationship with your higher self. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing now in my life, focusing not on external relationships, but really focusing on my internal relationship with myself and my soul and my higher self. And I do this every day by journaling and channeling messages from my higher self. Higher self, and the question, this sentence stem comes from channeler Lee Harris, who I love following. And he says to channel these messages with the question, soul, what do I need to know right now? Or higher self, what do I need to know right now? Sometimes I ask spirit guides, what do I need to know right now? And I just channel a bunch of really cool information that's not from my mind, comes from my higher self. And it says, so maybe intuition leads us toward abundance versus anxiety, tries to protect us from perceived scarcity. Yeah. The more I live an intuitive life, the more abundance comes. I was on the dock the other day relaxing, and because I really intuitively was exhausted. I needed to relax, and I just followed what would bring me joy in this moment. And it was like, go relax on the dock. So I was outside relaxing under the sun, and I received a phone call, business call. There's so many hearts today. Received a business call, and this woman's like, "Hi, had a course with you. This is from another company. Course from you years ago. Now I work for a nonprofit. We have a budget of 8,000. I want to hire you." Perfect. That was unexpected. And then I look online, and there was another person, another referral for another contract for a couple thousand. I was like, I was literally just sitting on the dock, sun tanning. It was a work day in the afternoon, but I needed to relax. And these people came to me. I did not cold call. I did not do any outreach. And so literally, like back in the day when I was managing my company, and I wrote a book about this, Intuitive Business Connections, when I was hustling and working and trying to logically make my company work, it wasn't working. And when I surrendered and let go, I was able to attract a lot more business. And I write about it in my book. So yeah, anxiety and ego, it's there to protect us. It doesn't want to blissed out, because then the ego will die, and the ego doesn't want to die. So the ego is always trying to, you know, make sure that we live in some sort of scarcity and fear, right? But we don't need to. Can you confirm my intuition on something? Are you intuitive for others? Yeah, in the future, I will do intuitive readings for others, for sure. But my message for these episodes is that everyone's intuitive. I don't have a special gift. You are intuitive. You know what's best for yourself. And so it's important to trust that. And before trusting really big things in your life, like I trust myself for big things, like, okay, leaving my house and moving or going to travel somewhere. But because I've spent decades trusting myself on little things. So start small, right? Just start small. But yes, you have all the answers you need. You do not need to seek validation or confirmation elsewhere. Sometimes it's fun to get outside. Sometimes I might seek outside opinions from others, but I've go back to myself, and I often know the answer before I seek that curiosity outside of me. Manu, recently I've been traveling solo. Yes. I had planned a trip to Malaysia, but unfortunately I had to cancel it for other reasons and returned home. After coming back, I started feeling very uncomfortable, stressed, depressed, and having constant racing thoughts. I'm not sure what happened to me. All of a sudden, my emotions changed. I'm still single and living alone, but now I feel like life is over. I've lost focus. I have no interest in doing anything and spend too much time sleeping. It feels like I'm stuck in a loop. I calm these feelings, but nothing seems to work. Could you please advise me or share some ways to get through this? Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I've had times in my life, especially after heartbreak, where I just crumble and I'm hopeless, and hopeless is very sad feeling to be in. I like to live in hope for my future. And so I've had moments like this. I'm not always joyful and happy. I come on lives when I'm in a good place, but I've definitely been in places where I've cried every day for months and months and months, healing this wound or that wound. So I feel you. And what helped me get out of that loop, as you call it, was really, I would, a lot of self-care, so I would, when I couldn't get out of bed, I would give myself 3 non-negotiables every day. And those were 3 for me. So that'd be 3 hours of self-care. One was every day I needed to go outside and be in nature for an hour. Another was I needed to read positive, really uplifting, usually self-help, books. So I'd read every day for an hour. And then the third is I would connect to a friend or family. So I would contact, because I was very isolating. I like to be alone when I'm healing, isolated alone. I was single as well, and just wanting to hibernate by myself. And so I needed connection. Connection is necessary. So I'd contact one friend a day. And slowly that got me back into feeling better. I'm a huge believer that nature heals everything. That's why people come to my retreats. Yeah, I can offer nice food, nice environment, some coaching, but I take them to the forest. And the more you sit with the nature and connect to Mother Earth, she can love and support you back to health. I'm a strong believer in that. So I would go into nature as much as possible. And pushing yourself, this isn't fun. I would just want to sleep and cry all day, but I would be like, nope, I have to get myself to the forest. So creating some of these non-negotiables, but positive, of course, not watching the news, of course, not going on social media, of course, not drinking, of course, not eating foods that are heavy. That makes anyone depressed. Like if I'm super happy, if I do any one of those things, I crash into a depression immediately. So I know this about myself. So first, you need to have the basis of creating a positive lifestyle. But I was living a positive lifestyle, but I was still healing some internal wounds. And I went out in nature, and I chose. I'm very selective on the information, so I chose to read positive books, to help me get out of it. And of course, meditation, once you connect to your soul, it's much easier to listen to your higher self and the next steps, and also building that connection. I'm very happy to be alone right now because there's no distractions. I can be 100% connected to my soul and like, hey, soul, what do you want? What do you want to do today? And follow that instead of, oh, what does my partner want? Or what does a friend want? Or, so you're in a really nice position right now, Manu. I don't know if any of that resonates with you. Rudy says, how do you know if it's wishful thinking or intuition? For example, you're welcome, Manu. For example, I had 2 dreams about this goal in mind. So is that my intuition speaking via dreams? Yeah, I receive very strong intuition via my dreams. Often, really, when my mind or ego is very resistant to something, my intuition bypasses my conscious mind and goes into my unconscious through the dream world. And so I receive very strong messages. Like I'm dreaming like last night I had crazy dreams, but you'll know those dreams that are very intense, that are very like, wow, I need to do this. And they're very different. I'm dreaming all the time, but I'm in the province I am today because of my dreams. And I was extremely resistant. My personality, my ego was very resistant to this province. But my soul wanted me here and kept having these very strong dreams of me not coming here and being very disappointed. So my dreams were almost creating another timeline and another reality that if I didn't play that out, how upset or how regretful I would be in my life. And I'm sure I'd be very regretful, but I wouldn't have known. I would have maybe always been like, oh, I wonder if, but now I don't wonder if I'm living that life. Right? So yes, dreams are very big. For me, it bypasses, it's the unconscious mind playing out. So often before going to sleep, you can set the intention before in your dream world, because it's very interesting, you guys. 1/3 of our life, we're unconscious in our dream world. And we're not utilizing 1/3 of our entire existence, which is quite scary when you think about it. So, it's important to start to harness literally 1/3 of our life, right? So, and you can do this with intention. I'm all about living intentionally and living consciously. So before going to sleep, setting an intention. I would like to heal, even Manu, whatever. I would like to heal this depression or heal this sadness or heal this wound, or I would like to have clarity. We need to ask for guidance, and we can get that guidance on our dream world. I would like guidance or clarity on this situation or this person or this job or this place to live. We can receive a lot of messages. There's 1/3 of our life that we're just unconscious. Well, what about living it consciously? in that 1/3 of our life, right? So, yeah, Manu says, yeah, that's so true. I need to change my daily habits too. Of course. Of course. And those little things. Like, I can be very happy. And the moment I ingest, let's say, sugar, my mood instantly crashes and I become very irritable because my body doesn't feel good. So then I become very irritable. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I know this about myself. And so it's important to go, okay, well, if I eat high vibrational foods, maybe a nice, I don't know, fruit or something instead of sugar, and I still eat sugar because I love sugar, but I'm conscious. I'll eat it maybe before bed so I'm not irritable towards others, you know? So just being conscious. But yeah, daily habits change everything. Being conscious of your daily habits. Yeah. So I want to see. Yeah. Yeah, Emilio says, yeah, you better not, he says, I better not trust my intuition. It's 95% wrong. So I would love to know more about that. I would love to know more why you think intuition isn't wrong. Intuition isn't wrong. Maybe your logical mind, your ego, but our intuition is never wrong. Yeah, Emma says, Manu's story reminds you of the hero's journey. Don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but different stages we go through in answering a call. Yeah, and there's different phases. Last year I was in a very different energy. I was in a energy of going outside and meeting people and dating and festivals and retreats. Great. This year, I'm going inward. Relationship with myself, alone, hibernation, relationship with my soul, my higher self, meditation, lots of channeling work, like there's just phases of our life. Last year wasn't better than this year. This is just a different season of my life, and I'm honoring that. Good. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I don't know if anyone has any other last questions before I log off. I encourage you all to follow me, write a comment, send an email. And I don't know when my next live will be, but thank you again so much for your time. And I hope to have the chance to see you all again in the future. Bye for now.